If a guy who is usually calm, cool, and collected suddenly says, "I miss you so much," that's enough to make your heart stop for a split second, right? But what if that guy is Jungkook, BTS's golden magne, and the one he misses isn't just anyone but Park Jimin? Yep, you heard right. Jungkook finally spoke up about his deep longing for Jimin. And after that confession came out, armies all over the world immediately became emotional, panicked, and full of theories. But wait, there's more to it than just the words, "I miss you." Behind those words, there's a much more complex, emotional, and psychologically quite shocking story. Jungkook and Jimin. These two names are like magnets that attract each other in the K-pop world. Not only because they're in the same group, but because their closeness has a unique dynamic. Not always affectionate, not always showing off their affection in front of the camera, but precisely because their closeness feels genuine. And when Jungkook finally said that he missed Jimin so much, it wasn't just a casual remark. It could be a code, a signal, or even an emotional outburst that he had been suppressing during their military service that separated them for quite some time. We're talking about two people who have lived together for more than 10 years under the pressure of the South Korean entertainment industry, which is tough, structured, and demanding. Their relationship is no ordinary relationship. This isn't just workmates. This is a bond between two young people who grew up from the bottom, who stepped on their first stage together, who cried together when they failed, and smiled together when the world finally called them legends. Jungkook, with his more introverted and perfectionist personality, rarely expresses his feelings explicitly. When he says he misses, it means he really misses. And Jungkook's version of miss is not just any miss, because he's the type of person who usually holds it all in by himself. And don't forget, Jimin is no ordinary figure either. He's not just Jungkook's hyung. For many armies, Jimin is an anchor, a balancer. He has a soft yet strong energy. Meanwhile, Jungkook, who is more often the silent powerhouse, sometimes needs someone like Jimin to keep him connected to his emotional side. Well, Jungkook's statement came not long after several small interactions between them on social media that made armies start to realize something was missing. Usually they like to throw funny comments at each other, support each other in solo projects, or at least give likes on posts. But lately, it's been quiet. And quiet in the idol world is not uncommon. Quiet can mean two things, busy or longing. And apparently, Jungkook decided to be honest. In one of his live sessions, which, as usual, he did with dim lights and a flat expression that was always hard to guess, Jungkook suddenly said, "I miss Jimin hyung," and that sentence, although short, contained extraordinary emotional weight. Not only did it make thousands of armies immediately shiver, but it also opened up a long discussion about how deep their relationship really is. From a psychological perspective, when someone like Jungkook, who is known to be quiet and very private, dares to express his feelings publicly, it can be seen as a healthy form of attachment. He is not ashamed to admit his longing, even though in Korean culture, men are often expected to hold back their emotions. This reflects emotional maturity, that he is starting to feel comfortable showing his vulnerable side in public. And more than that, he shows that his friendship with Jimin has a special place in his heart, not just a matter of work. But if we take it further, there is another layer that makes this even more complex: the theory from ARMY. Some armies believe that Jungkook and Jimin's relationship is not just close, but there is a deeper emotional dimension. Many call it soulmate vibes. From the way they look at each other, the way they talk, even from small gestures that seem spontaneous, it is very clear that the two understand each other without needing many words. And if you diligently follow the fanbase and fan analysis, you'll find various old clips where Jimin is the first person to approach Jungkook when he is feeling down, or Jungkook who reflexively stands up to protect Jimin when there is a commotion. That is not a fake reaction. It is instinct. And instinct cannot be formed with a script or agency script. So, when the statement of longing came up, armies immediately connected with all those old memories. They remember how these two people filled each other, pushed each other to continue growing, and became each other's home in the midst of a world full of spotlights, pressure, and loneliness. And for some armies, that statement also made them connect personally. Because, honestly, who has never felt longing but could meet? Or felt that there was someone who was like half of their soul, but because of circumstances, had to be far away for a while? Jungkook's sentence became a mirror for many people who are missing someone in their lives. But, of course, this is not a drama. This is the reality of two human beings who have been together for a long time, then separated because of state obligations. Now, Jimin is still serving his military duty, and Jungkook, who was the first to enter, has now begun to be able to share a little about his feelings while the members were away. And Jimin, who has always been Jungkook's emotional protector, may also be feeling the same way there. But yeah, he can't say it. Because the military. Interestingly, after that confession, ARMY started to make threads, edit videos, and even fanfics about their reunion moment later. They imagined how Jimin would react if he found out Jungkook said he missed him. They imagined their first hug after so many months. And everything felt emotional. At this point, we can draw one conclusion. Longing is no small thing. In the fast-paced, competitive, and sometimes artificial world of K-pop, sincere longing can be an oasis. And when it comes from Jungkook, who is known to be very selective in speaking, it means he really feels it. Maybe right now they can't meet. But a relationship like Jungkook and Jimin's won't fade just because of time or distance. Because they've been through more than just concerts and practices together. They've lived the same dream, fallen under the same pressure, and now they're just waiting for their turn to return to that point. Together. And for us, ARMYs, maybe it's time to believe that after all this is over, after all our national duties are done, we won't just see BTS reunited on stage, but we'll see that hug. The hug of longing that's been buried for so long between Jungkook and Jimin. And when that day comes, we all know that seemingly simple statement of longing turns out to be the beginning of something much deeper, warmer, and more beautiful.